let's get to our guest. Hello, Candy.
Yes, it is, Paul.
Hi, how are you? You're on the air with me and Denise.
Hi, how are you?
Do you have your friend Jeannie with you tonight?
No, I just thought I'd wing it, and then we'd do a whole nother thing with us.
Yeah,
Sounds
good
great.
to us. So I was reading. I got to be honest with you. You, Ken, and Jeff, the most memorable people from that show. You guys do some amazing work.
Oh, in fact, I thought that was all that was on there. Oh, I guess there are two other people. Well, yes. Well, we're all three really committed and, really feel like this is our life work and did this before and probably after the show Intervention even existed. So,
were you part of the creation of the show, or did they just come to you?
Well, I like to think I was, but they don't think I was. I had created a show very similar that hadn't gotten picked up because they figured who'd want to watch drug addicts. And I guess they were wrong.
I was going to say, you'd be surprised.
I love that show. Your show is the perfect show to show your kids if you ever want them never to do drugs.
Well, the old joke is, Betty Ford said, that's swell. Put my name up on side of that building. I'll never be able to take a drink again, And because, everybody knew the Betty Ford Center, and she most likely wasn't going to go in and order a cocktail. So, it's kind of what, if nothing else kept me sober, this sure did.
That's good. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
whatever it takes.
So you were, I don't want to be nasty enough, but you were an alcoholic years ago, right?
Yes, I have 29 and a half years sober.
Wow.
Yay, God
It's a
bless.
long time between cocktails for this girl.
So you got sober at like 12, I'm thinking.
Well, 12 and a half. No, actually, quite honestly, I was 38 years old.
Wow, you do not look that old. I got to tell you.
Well, thanks. I begged them for a bonus of a facelift, but they won't give me one. So.
I tell you, you wouldn't look that good if you were still drinking, that's for sure.
Oh, hell no. But I probably wouldn't be alive knowing the way I drank. The old CIA, Catholic Irish alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
That defines me perfectly.
That's funny. So I read that you were one of the first people that got taught how to do this by Dr. Vern Johnson. He was the guy that came up with this whole thing, right? Is that true?
There you go, making me so special again.
Well, you are.
No, Dr. Johnson was a Episcopal theologian and had a school in Minnesota that trained people to be interventions. I just happened to be lucky enough towards the lingering part of his years to be able to get trained by him. And which I think kind of drove me into a perspective that maybe a lot of people don't have, that this is, I'm just the messenger, not the message.
Right.
And because of that, I think I've had so much more honor and respect for this whole process. There's a lot of people who are interventionists that are trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And I just go, I got a wheel and it ain't flat and I'm sticking to it. So,
Yeah.
Good for you.
Everybody wants to change something that works. And I don't want to call anything my own. So
Right. But you're one of the most prominent, well-known people because of the show. So everybody, looks at you and says, okay, she's one of the people that, is the top person at doing this. And, and you guys, the amount of percentage...
Well, I went to school in 1991, and I was one of a handful of women.
Right.
Because it was a very confronting process. If you don't do this, you're gonna. If you don't do this, this is what you'll never see your kids again. And when Dr. Johnson, kind of looked over at me and he goes, "No one told anybody to confront somebody." And I said, "How about carefront them?" And he went, "Oh, that's very clever." But it's like we all have enough shame and blame to not start screaming at people, my God, I would have really liked my job if I got to do that.
Yeah, right.
I have screamed at a few in my day and like to have grabbed a gob, but, the real truth of it is that I'm offering them a new way to live, and
Right.
I represent that life. So I have to be as kind of gracious and as grateful and as, I carry a lot of legacy with me. So
Right.
I take it real seriously. I was, the Funny or Die did a whole kind of comic skit 3 or 4 years ago on intervention. And they wanted me to come down and walk in. And I said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do that. And then you're going to erase it off the tape.
Right.
And you're going to get an actress.
Right.
But Jeff's been on South Park and, but it's very difficult. It was a whole Funny or Die thing on intervening on somebody who's addicted to intervention.
Now, I'm assuming, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was very funny, but it's like I have to honor the job that I do, and I work with terminally ill people.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I was going to say, how obviously on TV, the pre-intervention and the intervention, they only show a few minutes of it. How long is that process?
Well, the pre-intervention, when they see me coming, this crew, they go, oh, no.
They know what's
because
happening.
It could be 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
I got one shot at this family.
Right.
And the truth of it is that I intervene on this family. This is a family disease. This isn't oh, my God, I'm an addict disease, you know. This is a family disease, and believe you me, I've known some families that were sicker than the addict.
Right, yeah, because I mean...
And so I get them well prepared and well versed and talk about that they should probably get some kind of help or get into recovery since they're going to have so much spare time.
Right.
Since I've taken the little addict with me.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
it's a whole process, and then I allow them the courtesy to intervene on this person that they love. It's like I'm not the bad guy; I'm the teacher.
Right. How many of those people are enabling these people? Is that the biggest problem you have, or is it
enabling and codependency? Yeah, I mean, the people that really do tough love, it doesn't work either. Only works is getting them help.
Right.
And repeatedly getting them help. My husband has a friend who's gone to 37 rehabs.
Wow.
And he was a rock musician and rather well known. And, I don't know why when he walked in the last one he got it. Who's to say? But at least a whole bunch of people didn't give up on him.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when you come out of those things if you just go right back to hanging with the same group of people, which someone
or go
like
back
that
to the
would.
same family that's going, Are you high? Are you sober? Let me smell your breath. It's then, why bother to go home?
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Babe, you got a question there?
Very true. I was basically going to ask you, how do you know when a person is, I guess, an addict? I mean, people drink casually, people, will smoke. But how do you know? I mean, what are the guidelines or the signs that you should be looking for to know that person
let's
is
do
beyond
this
just
quick
social?
Scenario. The three of us went out to dinner. And you turned to me and say, Candy, would you like a glass of wine or something? And I said, look, glass of wine's fine, but I think maybe I'll have let's say Jack Daniels on the rocks. And you go, okay, fine. And I drink that. You guys both have a glass of lovely white wine. One of you, Paul, has red wine. Mm-hmm. And then dinner comes, and I want a bottle of wine. And then when that gets through, I think, aren't we having liqueur? I don't need dessert.
Yeah.
And during that, and it's like the worst part of alcoholism is that I and all other alcoholics do not know when they cross that invisible line, which brings you into the reality is that I pick up a drink, the drink takes a drink, and the drink takes me.
Wow.
I don't know when I cross that line. I'm suspicious that it was right after I had my daughter. I was pretty okay. I mean, I drank socially, but I really didn't like it that well. And I grew up in a privileged family in Kansas, an oil family. And so, a big deal was when I turned 21 and, and I was told what to drink. This is what a lady drinks, And I went, oh, I'm a lady. Okay now. Well, that'll only last a couple of years. But, I didn't drink alcoholically for a long time. I got myself in a real stressful situation. My husband is a musician, very successful, travels all the time. Here I am alone with this baby thinking, what the hell did I do now? And I was in such fear all the time that it ended up being my medicine. Now, I didn't drink at bars. I didn't go out with other men. I was, kind of a stay-at-home mom that drank at night. And it escalated pretty quickly.
Alcoholism is a different kind of thing to drugs, right? Because alcoholism you can kind of do in front of people.
Well, that's exactly right, except for when you cross that invisible line, I would have 3 glasses of wine and then go to a party and have a half a glass of wine and then come home and drink the other 2 bottles. I didn't want anybody counting my drinks because, see, I counted other people's.
See, I lost my daughter's godmother to alcoholism. And I think the one thing that upsets me is that I really feel she could have been saved if her family and others who were around her
didn't give up.
One didn't give up, but they turned a blind, like they knew the situation. They knew she was drinking. I mean, she was getting up in the morning and she was like the first thing before noon, she was down at the bars. She was drinking before she went into work. She would show up drunk at her son's baseball games.
God, yes. And you know what? That was never her intention.
Exactly. Right. She died at 43. I mean, it escalated worse when she got a divorce.
Well, of course, because then no one was bitching at her or watching her.
I think she probably got a divorce because of that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the guy's like, get out.
Yeah, the part was because the husband, you know what I mean, tried to get her sober and all. But, I mean, personally, I felt she should have been put in a rehab. And they all just kind of cleared their way and just let her do.
I'll tell you, I was intervened on by my mother-in-law, who was about 6'1" and Irish, and I kind of didn't argue with her. And she said to me, my grandchildren are not going to be raised by an alcoholic mother. And I said, well, who do you know that's an alcoholic mother, honey? And she said, you sneak alcohol when you're bathing the kids. You have a bottle of wine underneath the sink. And I said, well, then it just stops me from having to get up all the time. Do you know anybody else who keeps a bottle of Chardonnay in the tank of the toilet?
No.
It was nice and chilly and cold, and it chilled it just right. And what the hell?
When my girlfriend died, they found bottles hidden everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And all I can say is, this is a progressive and terminal disease, and watch anybody that happens to have been, if she has kids of her own or anything, they have a very high level of having this.
Yes, actually, sadly, she did. She had 2 children, and we had learned, through the family and all that her father was an alcoholic.
Sure.
And then now there are signs that her daughter has actually having, but not with alcohol.
Oh, no, she's not ever going to drink like her mom. She's going to take pills.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly what, we started noticing, with her.
And that escalates a lot faster.
Right, yeah.
You can die at 27 easily instead of 43.
Wow.
Yeah, because it just wreaks havoc with your body, especially synthetic opiates. It's the #1 epidemic in the history of the United States of America, far past polio, TB, measles, diphtheria, you name it. This is the worst epidemic in the history of the United States. We lose 2,200 people a day from overdoses of non-prescribed prescription medicine.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I think half the problem is these pain management and these little buildings down the street from us that you just go in there.
Yeah, these little Dr. Feelgood.
Right.
Yeah.
You walk in there and you hand them $25 and they give you,
Yeah, it's a little more expensive than that, Paul. But
if you have insurance, it's not.
But see, here's what's happening. Yeah. They're ordering, let's say, 2,000 Vicodin. And then they hand them out 45 to 60 at a time, charge you. For them, they probably pay, $200 or $300 for 1,000. And then they charge you $200 for 45 to 60 of them in cash, and there's never a prescription trail because Vicodin isn't a triplicate. It's not like oxycodone and anything else that they consider to be an opiate because there's more acetaminophen in it than there is synthetic opiates. So therefore, it means that it isn't a triplicate.
Right.
So does that mean it's not a controlled substance in the same way as those other drugs?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Sure.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
Do you think that these addictions, what percentage of them do you think are hereditary or from parents?
Well, my husband is sober, and we have 2 children, a daughter and a son. And my son supposedly has a 72% chance of being an alcoholic or an addict, and my daughter a 51%. But I have to tell you, not in this family, honey.
Exactly.
I'd love to put up
You
a
know,
web.
I mean, my daughter drinks. My son, I'm sure, if it's a good day, has smoked enough pot to sink a ship. But my kids also know about dealing with it because of my husband's profession. I mean, you know, my son's godfather was Richard Manuel, died.
Wow.
My husband played with Jimi Hendrix, died. My husband played with Janis Joplin, died. My husband played with, you know, and I think if you grow up in an environment like that, you really see how tumultuous it is and how it ruins everybody's life. And my kids are just, I'm not saying that they don't have the pre-existing condition of being an addict alcoholic. I think that they are enough aware of when they know that they might cross that line.
So how much
Exactly.
how much do you think you being married to your husband actually helped him not to go down that road?
I don't think I helped him at all. He was a tongue chewing, knee walking alcoholic. So he's a Finnigan. He's like way.
He came right out of the pub in Dublin.
Yeah, well, it was in Killarney, but he still stumbled. But and he came from an alcoholic father who, to be really honest with you, took 2 drinks in his life. But he had such alcoholic behavior because his father was one of those people that went out to the grocery store and never came back.
Wow.
You know, these kids that go to school, these 6 kids that go to school and come home and they'd moved. I mean, so even though, you know, my husband's father was very depressed and had, you know, kind of found fault with a lot of things and was an incredible intellectual and was very happy sitting at home with his camels and drinking coffee, he still had that real distance behavior, you know.
Right.
And, of course, didn't realize it until I went to school and said, hey, you know, your dad took 2 drinks, a half a glass of champagne at his own and a half a glass of champagne at ours. And that was the end of that. And, you know, he died very young, and it's a very sad story. So, you know, it's very genetic. Now, I'm adopted, and so
me too.
I would imagine that I've had alcoholic behavior since I was a wee little one.
Wow.
You know, I'm always trying to outdo somebody. I'm better than, I'm less than, I'm louder than.
Sounds like you, Paul.
And
Great.
that's very, and I came from a very proper high society family, and, you know, I came busting in there taking names. You know, so there was nothing going to stop me.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
See, I found more and more, like, in our town that we live in, there has been an epidemic of heroin overdoses.
Heroin?
Heroin.
but it starts with pills.
Well,
These
that's what I'm
kids
saying,
Just
with
don't get
pills-
up one day and use
Exactly.
heroin.
Well, you know what? Heroin, they say, is a lot cheaper. I mean, you can get a hit for like...
Oh, okay. So let's say one oxycodone
Right.
is
Like
$80.
$80, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you start out with one and you're snorting it, and then you smoke a little of it, and then all of a sudden you need 2. But the time that you get a really good addiction on, which might be 6 to 8 weeks, you're up to 3. Where are you going to get $240 a day?
Exactly.
What are you going to have to sell, or
Exactly.
what already have you stolen
Yeah,
to
what are you
sell?
stealing?
So heroin, you could get the same effect for about a $25 bag.
Yeah, it's in this town. It's absolutely heroin everywhere.
Yeah, we've had so many suicides. So
yeah,
many,
and they're all kids.
like accidental deaths and
like 18, 19-year-old kids.
Well, they're not suicides; they're accidental deaths.
Well, accidental.
Right.
Suicide is such a well thought out, calculated process. These kids think they're fearless, think this will never happen to them, and think, okay, well, I can stop this. And they can't. It takes over your body, your mind, and your soul in a matter of months. Nobody is a part-time junkie.
Yeah. I mean, it's so sad, though, because you see, believe it or not, parents who are doing it with their children.
Oh, you know what? I would just take the kids and hug them and
I don't understand it. I don't understand, like, how a parent
it became very sheeshy in the 90s to smoke pot with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, really, why? I mean, because you're acting like they do, because you're giving them permission to, because you want them to do it with you so they don't go out on the street and do it. Well, okay, so they won't go out on the street and smoke pot. But they'll go out on the street and do pills or drink or,
nice.
they're not just going to celebrate life with you.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's actually, if they're underage, it's child abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I let my daughter do is, if they're gonna go somewhere and drink, have a couple of beers or something, I'll let them do it at the house because I'd rather have them here. But I'm not gonna buy beer for them,
Well, but out here in L.A., they were called celebration parties, and so your daughter invited all of her friends over, and when they walked in the door, the mother took all the keys to their car. And then the kids stayed up all night, and they provided the alcohol. And then what happens when one of them died of alcohol poisoning?
Nice.
It wasn't their fault. They weren't driving. I mean, there's just too many falling, hitting your head.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids don't sip a couple of beers and watch football on a Sunday afternoon. They go at it. They all steal all these pills and put them in a fishbowl and blindfold somebody and make you take 5 pills and tell you how they feel. They don't know what they're taking.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's crazy.
They don't know what they get, and a lot of it's also, too, is a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah.
I knew in growing up, you know what I mean, like pot and stuff like that was like, like pushed on me. And, if I didn't want to do it, then they would, call you names and stuff like that, and you just wanted to
You know what? In probably 15, 20 years ago, I'd have said you're crazy. But you're not. It's really the truth. Because none of that was pushed on me because, of my age.
Mm-hmm.
I remember us, maybe drinking a Coors if it was, or champagne on, like a little tiny glass or something. But, none of that was pushed on me. And if it would have, I'd have been the one that was dealing out of the trunk of my car. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a popularity experience, too. Somebody said the greatest thing about a pager is that if your pager went off every 5 minutes, your parents thought you were popular and everybody else knew you were a drug dealer.
Right, exactly. All right, we have a caller. That's Adam. Hey, Bob, are you there?
Hey, what's up?
You're on with Candy Finnigan from Intervention.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fabulous, thanks. How are you?
I just woke up. I took a few Xanax and passed out.
Yeah,
well,
that's always positive, right?
My kind of guy.
But
Now
Bob,
just try to be coherent, and we're all going to be on the same page.
yeah, Bob, you were actually clean for quite a while, right? You've only just kind of hit that back again, right?
No, I mean, I haven't drank or done coke or anything in over 5 years, but I've been on, like, Xanax since, for like 6 years because they said, it helps anxiety, but basically, when you run out, you go through hell, so I
want to tell you something, buddy.
Yeah.
Benzodiazepines is the worst detox in the history of medical detoxification of drug and alcohol.
I know that.
It takes the longest. It wreaks havoc. And if you're only taking 2, congratulations, because, people that get up to 5 and 6 of them, they feel like they're going to die for 2 or 3 months.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was basically, up to, like, I'd run short and I'd buy some more and, it doesn't affect me at all, and then when I went 3 days without it, I basically
almost came close to having a seizure.
No, because I kind of know that you almost have a heart attack because it's happened before, so it feels like a heart attack.
Well,
So
buddy, you're
What?
a pharmacist.
what?
I said
No,
you're a pharmacist.
I know everything. I'm not, well, my wife knows everything. She looked it up, but the whole thing is, I knew that was going to happen, so I fought it, and I made her take pictures of me to put up at a later time when I get off of this to show what a loser looks like that's stuck on these pills. So basically, I'm going to wean off them. Probably
Well,
take a
you
couple
know what?
months.
Why don't you go ask for help and have somebody help you get off of them?
Well, I can do it myself. I stopped drinking.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
A
No.
million times.
That always
probably.
works out well.
No, it works
Well,
for
it's
me.
just that it's
You
a
know-
lot easier if you ask somebody for help to stay off of them if you think you wean yourself one more time.
No, I mean, I talk to people on the phone. It's like, where am I going to go to a detox place?
No, you can go to a private doctor and ask him to titrate you down.
Yeah, but I mean, I go to a doctor, and
yeah, I know
basically,
the pills.
yeah, exactly. But now I'm.
Hi, can I get
now
some
I'm-
help?
I
Can I get-
suggest you go to another doctor.
Yeah, really, one that doesn't give you
Yeah,
90
it seems
Xanaxes.
to me like this doctor is only enabling you.
Oh, I
Well,
know
look
there
up
was
ASAM. It's the Association of Substance Abuse Medicine, and they have doctors that do this. And it's, not a horribly big thing, but, if somebody's handing you something that makes you feel better, why in God's name would you stop? Except it drives you crazy.
Well, when you do run out, yeah, it does. I mean, it's worse than heroin, from what I'm told. And
It is the worst detox, period. Methadone and benzodiazepines, which is Xanax and Valium and
Yeah.
Ativan and all them dams. So
yeah, and basically that night or the second night, I was up for 20. I was up for like 48 hours at least. The whole time I was up, and I actually wrote a hit song for my son's band. I was so clear-minded, when you go to that different zone, when your head is so, your body gets so wide open, you actually see yourself from the outside. That's sort of how I
Out of
felt.
body experience.
well,
I don't know.
kind of.
I do have a question.
As a drunk, you try it. You try your best to have a blackout. So, you kind of don't remember that.
Bob,
Yeah.
Pills are very different.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
if you're being prescribed this, I mean, don't you have a dosage? Why would you be running out unless
Probably
you're
plows
abusing
through them in like 4 days.
That's what I'm saying. If you're abusing them,
Right.
Well, yeah, you abuse them, you lose them, you put them in your pocket, and
And then it goes to the washing machine.
Right.
yeah, or any other excuse you can come up that people believe you, and then they
Then you
give
buy
you
them on
some.
the street, and then
Yeah.
away we go.
they fell
Yeah.
down the sink.
Wow.
I've heard them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume the guy you get these pills from, Bob, you've never ever said to him, "Hey, I need some help here."
Now I have. I said if anybody gives me any, I'll never talk to them again. So
Oh, that's a start.
Yeah, that's definitely a start, man. You need to get off that crap.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. There's nothing. When I put my mind to something, there's nothing I can't do. Except for maybe stay married for more than 8 years.
Hey, I got 46, so don't tell me about Xanax.
Jesus Christ! What am I talking to the Pope's wife?
Yeah, close.
How old are you?
I'm 68 years old.
Oh my God, I would never have
No,
guessed
it
that.
doesn't look that old to me.
Wow.
Well, I'm
Candy. Good
67.
for
I'm going to
you.
be 68, but it's close enough for jazz. So.
Wow,
Yeah.
good for you.
Don't you find the problem with weaning yourself off, Bob, is that a couple of weeks later you just go back on it again? You don't do the job properly. You know what I mean?
No, it's because of the fact that you know what you want to do, and you only take it when you really get a bad feeling. Like you can start getting the feeling, and you don't have to take it until you really get to that point. So it's a different game.
Yeah, see, I stopped all the time with alcohol, but I couldn't stay stopped.
You see,
You know, that was-
I got a drunk lady telling me to get off pills.
Yeah, but she's been clean for over 30 years.
Well, this one. Yeah, I haven't. Listen, buddy, it's been 29 and a half years between cocktails. So I was a delightful drunk, by the way. So, and never took a pill because I thought, oh my God, I'd never remember how many I took. So.
Yeah, and then you end up in somebody else's bed.
Oh, not me.
She's
No,
married.
I crawled, so I wasn't going anywhere.
Well, you crawl. That's a good position too.
All right, we might want to leave this right
So,
now.
It
Bob.
depends on what you're into.
Yeah. All right, Bob. Thanks a lot. We're going to
Do
give
you?
you.
I was just
Okay.
going to ask
Good luck
Bob a
to you.
quick
Keep
question.
at it, buddy. Don't give up.
Go ahead.
Oh
Bob,
no,
are
I
you-
never give up. You know what I mean? You can't give up. I mean, that's why you know there's always a fight for something, and you got to fight every day.
Yeah, above ground and breathing, it's a great day.
Do you
That's right. I'm telling you. And if you ever get single, let me tell you, I'll snap your hip like nobody's business.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
don't
all right.
count on it at this point. I'm not going to date after all this time.
Hey, you know you want something.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah, you
We'll
must
check back
Okay,
with you
Bob.
later, Bobby, okay?
Go get some
All right,
therapy.
you got it.
All right,
Take care.
bye-bye. Okay.
I don't
Precious.
understand
Yeah.
why he is not. I mean, you know what? If he has this addiction and he knows he has it, why, like you said, Candy, I mean,
Not enough repercussions for him to think that it isn't ruining his life.
But not only that, I mean, he has, evidently, there's deep-rooted issues, you know, with his anxieties. I mean, he needs
Well,
to
drugs
address
and
them.
alcohol are all but a symptom of what's really going on.
Yeah, he's got
And all
some.
you're doing is masking
Yeah,
it, you
it's
know.
masking it. Get down to the root of it. Get some therapy. Work on your anxieties.
Oh, please, that'd be way too...
yeah,
that'd be way
that would
too
probably be way too
simple.
easy, right?
I remember I was getting anxiety in like 2006, and the doctor just pretty much gave me 4 Xanaxes a day and said, "Here, take these every 3-4 hours."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to take them when I feel like I need them. Okay, I'm lucky. My addictions are having sex with my wife, and
Well, bless you.
yeah,
you
which
little thing.
she doesn't.
Please. Now, you know what it is, Kenny? I'm going through menopause right now. I am
Ooh,
53.
yucca-duck.
Yes, exactly. I'm 53. I'm actually, also, I was diagnosed with, like, fibro. And,
Well, you know,
physically,
and
I'm just- you
you
know
should
what?
just have your husband think about it a lot.
yeah, well, believe me, he does. But, you know, I mean, it's kind of like, and I'm also actually, I'm in therapy. Because, you know, I have a very rough childhood. Thank God I never became anything. I don't have addictive personality because I probably would have either. Right. I would have either been an alcoholic or a drug addict or some kind.
Well,
but
you know, when you have a really hard, you know, childhood, whether anybody believes it or not, you drag this through your life until you get rid of it.
exactly.
You know, it's that old uncover, discover, and
Yeah.
discard.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, I've done a lot of work in my life, too, or I certainly wouldn't think that this, you know, why do you go to rehab? You go to rehab to get counseling, to get away from the people who are enabling you, to get away from the people who deal to you, who
Yeah.
allow you to get in this condition, and then you kind of start seeing a light. You know, and if the light at the end of the tunnel might start out as a pin light, but, you know, when it hits the floodlight, then you're back in business. You know, it's like I've done an awful lot of work with, you know, with, and I had a fabulous childhood, but I always have to go back to I was adopted.
Right.
And I was incensed that people would tell me that I was abandoned. I went, "You're crazy."
My
Well,
wife
you.
does that. My wife has said that to me before.
No, Paul was adopted, and I mean, like I said, I grew up in a very abusive environment. You know, and I actually just recently, you know, I've always throughout my life, I've dealt with paranoia, anxiety, and like I said, I could have become an alcoholic or a drug addict
Very easily.
with
And
all
so
the
could
things.
you, Paul, because 51% of everybody that's adopted reaches for something to fill that hole in your soul.
And
Right.
see, that's what I say about him because I noticed things about him, you know what I mean? That like with his anxieties and stuff where I said to him, I really think that, you know, being put on medication alone is not going to do it. Like you need to get down to the
Well,
root.
that just puts a Band-Aid on open heart
Exactly.
surgery.
You need to find out what is troubling you and why. And I have been in therapy. I've been in therapy now for 2 years. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, PTSD
Yeah.
from an abusive family
Exactly.
is very common.
And I'm learning why I react the way I do at certain times, why I cry or when I get emotionally, you know. But like the one thing that I always have is because of the abuse that I have seen and, you know, even witnessing and people, you know, like
Well, that's
either
still
dying.
trauma.
Exactly. I mean, it helped me to like never become, you know.
Where you came from.
Exactly. And I have worked all my life to try to, you know, better myself and deal with my issues head on rather
And I have
than
to tell you, you guys doing this podcast, whether you know it or not, and like the first caller who has a very, sassy sense of humor, it's a terminal disease. This guy could die in an instant.
Right.
And he can joke around about it, and he can do it, and he can control it. You just heard addiction at its finest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, sad. Very
Yeah.
sad, And that's what I said. People are like in denial. They think they can handle it. But,
Well, that's the primary part of
Yeah.
this disease is you're the last one that knows it, and sometimes it's a little late.
yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, when somebody said to me, "You're not an alcoholic. You don't drink the way I drink," and I thought to myself, "How do you know how I drank?"
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I've spent a lot of time not looking like you.
Well, you look great.
Well, thanks, but I haven't had a drink for a while. I probably would. I'm sure that I probably wouldn't be alive. And I never got a DUI, thank God, or got arrested or anything like that because the
my
women
girlfriend-
are an incredibly sneaky group of addicts and alcoholics.
Yeah.
Until we get caught, and then all hell breaks loose. I've seen people walk away from everything that they care about just in the name of I've got to have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become some kind of secret agent when you're trying to hide that stuff.
And I was really good. My husband was so incensed that I was going to treatment. He goes, "What are you talking about?" Because he could drink a fifth of Jack a day and 24 beers, but he's also 6'6.5".
Yeah.
And, where he ended up with his career in this business, it was very acceptable. I mean, most really successful recording artists had $100,000 drug and alcohol, pumped into their record bonus. I mean, it was part of how it's going to take to make this album. So.
Yep.
It was so acceptable, and I have to tell you, I'm very proud of the fact that my husband and a few other men and myself all started MAP, which was the Musicians Assistance Program, which is now part of Music Cares, because which is part of the Grammys. We had no place to turn, and we made sure that when we both got sober, that we were going to try to help somebody else that picked up the phone and had the nerve to call and ask for help.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Now we see in 2008 you wrote a guide to help people.
Yeah,
with,
I wrote
Do you
it
wanna
because
talk
I got
about it?
so many people asking me if I could help them, and I can't help the world. But
Right.
You can't be afraid of intervening on someone you love. It's a very interesting, very intricate process, but having somebody try to do it instead of waiting to when they can afford it is never going to happen. And there's too many people who have died waiting for them to be able to know the right time. If you think it's the right time, it's the right time.
Do you need someone from outside of the family to do it like you do on the show? To moderate the whole thing and organize it?
I think it's an incredible luxury. If you get a real interventionist, there are probably 11,000 new interventionists that see the show and think that looks simple. And I have a master's in counseling. I mean, I've worked really hard to stay very teachable, and every intervention is my favorite one. And and every family is different, so it's a very personal process to me. It's not an event. But if you can't afford it, don't not do something.
Yeah, it's so sad because there are so many families too that, you know what I mean, they're in denial. You know what I mean?
Oh,
they don't want to
it makes
face that. No, my
them
son doesn't have a
look
problem.
bad.
Or they don't want, their family image.
Well, but I wasn't a good mother, and I've had 1,000 women say, I've been praying to God for so long that something would happen, and I always say, here I am. I mean, I'm the messenger, It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with love. None of those things are going to stop you from killing yourself on a daily basis. And if you're lucky enough to still have family, please do something. Don't, just don't wait around till they hit a bottom, because usually it's 6 feet under.
Yeah, I think it's probably difficult for families because sometimes the mother or the father or the brother or the sister are all helping the person out and enabling them, and now you have to get the cousin or the aunt to come and do this, and maybe not even tell them.
Well, you have to get, everybody has somebody who's, gotten their life together. and invite them into your life to tell you that they don't have to live like that. All of them don't have to live like that, because, you know, the one person's using drugs and drinking and the other person is just as sick. You know, I've seen codependency at a level that you would have no idea what people have gone through. Gotten in cars at midnight and driven down to the worst part of town to score for their kids. And I mean, everything you can imagine, just so they didn't look bad.
Yeah, I see that on the show all
All right,
the time.
hold on.
and I'm like,
We have someone else who asked us to call her while you're on, so let's just see if she answers the phone, which she probably won't. Let's see real quick.
Well, thanks for doing this show. You guys
oh,
are
no
talking.
problem. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome. She's probably passed out. We'll check back with her in a while.
Yeah, she's actually another
She's a friend of ours that is basically very
bottoming
poor,
out.
and she just, when she gets up in the morning, she has like 2 natural ices for breakfast.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Well,
just like she
then
would
why don't
rather
you
spend
guys
her money
sit down
on.
and do something about it.
We have, so many people have, and she's just really sadly in denial. She doesn't think that she has a problem.
Well, as I always say, if you don't have a problem, what does everybody else think you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you
know,
when you have cheap beer for breakfast, that's got to be a problem, right there.
Well, yeah, but you have to have the hair of the dog, or you shake like crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, you think that's what it is? It's just
Oh.
a cycle going around in circles?
Yeah, it's that medicine. I need my medicine. She's not enjoying her life, I guarantee you.
No,
No, I mean, you know what? And she's, how old is she?
I guess 50s.
She's in her 50s, and she looks so much like older than me. And her, you
it's
can tell. You know,
but
like,
it ages women
like
5 times faster than men.
like in how like they blowed up and their face has that redness to it. Like that's what she looks like.
That's when you're getting liver failure.
See?
And once you get cirrhosis, I don't care if you never have a drink again, you're not that your liver absolutely heals itself. It's the only organ that totally and completely heals itself.
Mm.
But if you've gotten to this horrible disease state, you can't reverse it. You can't reverse it.
Yeah. See, and I think that's what happened like with my girlfriend.
Yeah,
She died
I
because
would
it was way to the point, and she was getting really, really sick, you know, and everybody was telling her, you need to go to the doctors, and she kept putting it off, and deep down,
you know, she needs to go to the doctor, but they're going to tell her what to do, and
see,
she's
that's
not
what
willing to do it.
I think she didn't go because I think
You knew.
she knew, and she knew what a doctor was going to tell her, and I mean, sad, her mother got to the point, she was so worried, her mom drove up to take her to the doctors and found her dead on the floor. It was too late.
Yeah.
You know, and like I
That
just
just happened to a friend of mine's twin sister. She
Aw.
had gotten a big fight with her because she embarrassed her at dinner at a family meeting, and so she said, you know, I'm going to do the tough love thing, and she didn't talk to her for 2 weeks, and then when she did call her, she didn't answer, and she'd been dead for 10 days.
oh
you
my
know,
god, oh my
it's
god,
you don't know when that minute is. You don't know how saturated your body is. You don't know when your body's had enough, because your mind tells you otherwise.
yeah.
It's a
So
sad
sad.
state of affairs.
Yeah, I think this lady might be scared to come on because I see her. She's
Yeah, because she's not going to want to I always
She's probably
say,
not. Yeah, she ain't gonna
Santa
like what
comes down
she
the
would
chimney
hear.
and Candy comes through the front door. So,
yeah.
you know, I said there's 3 times that families get together. You know, Christmas, weddings, and interventions.
Oh, my daughter
So-
just got married.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. When you stop doing this stuff, what do you need to do to keep your mind off it and get into the groove of doing other stuff? Like, do you need to like get hobbies, or what is it?
Well, no alcoholic has a hobby. I mean, if you're a heavy drinker, you can play golf and do a few things that, you know, I see a lot of people do, but you can't finish anything you start, so how can you have a hobby, you know?
No, I
Your
meant
hobby
after
is
you come
drinking.
back from the intervention, after you come back from the getting clean, other than not hanging out with the same people.
Busy. You go to 12-step meetings, you involve yourself in a support group of people that you can tell the truth to, who have the same thing you do. You help other people. You volunteer. You get a job. I know that's scary, but
Yeah,
you
right.
know, and you involve yourself in life because you've been missing a whole lot of it.
That's one thing. Whenever I watch the show, and these people say they're spending $600 for every couple of days on some drugs, I'm like, I wish I could make $600. If I did that, I put it in the bank.
Think about what you could do with that. Take every single cent of money that you spend on drugs and alcohol, put it into a little piggy bank, and you can go to Europe first class in about 6 months.
Right. Absolutely. Well, $600 a week, you can go to Europe in 2 days. It won't be first class.
Yeah, but once you get there, what are you going to do?
Right, exactly.
Stay any place, you know?
I always say that to my wife when these people are like, hey, yeah, I spend like $400 a day. I'm like, how in the hell do they get $400 a day?
And I want to tell you something. They're always broke.
Right, because they write down to the dope guy right after they get the money, you know?
These poor women have to sell themselves.
Yeah, some of those episodes of Intervention are really crazy. I mean, one of the ones I remember, of course, there's the one girl that was the walking on sunshine girl that was, sniffing the cleaner. I saw her on the show. She's now doing speeches and stuff all about this stuff.
Yeah, she runs a sober living place, and she just graduated from UCLA.
Wow,
that's crazy.
That's great.
And she's really lucky she didn't have brain damage. Most people have permanent brain damage.
Yeah, because I read that sometimes I think like 40% of people that do that pretty much die the first time they try it. Something crazy like that.
Well, you're exactly right.
That's crazy.
Jeez, whoever thought of that? Well, I guess people were sniffing glue in my day, so I don't know.
Well, someone had to sit down one day and say, hey, I wonder what happens if we do this.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Another memorable one was the one with the girl where I think they were in Baltimore, and the boyfriend was dropping her off to have sex with other guys to get money. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's more common than I'd like to tell you.
Wow. I could never imagine.
Well, we could never imagine anything that you would sacrifice all of that, But one more time, this enabling and codependency is, will kill people.
Is there like a rehab center that you can send people that enable rather than they're not addicts, but you need to teach them?
Yep. There's a lot of different treatment centers have codependency tracks, and there's places like in Bowling Green, Kentucky, a place called Bridges to Recovery, and it's strictly for trauma and codependency.
Wow. It's amazing how we've come. Imagine, 50 years ago when people were on the streets of New York were getting drunk. They didn't have any of this.
Well,
They also didn't live much longer than 40.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 45 was a long life if you were a drug addict.
So tell me about this two addiction ladies company you have. Well,
Jeannie Griffin is just one of the smartest women I've ever met, if not the smartest, except for maybe me. But and she has the same amount of recovery I do, and we became friends because we were at a networking luncheon, and I said, "Come sit by me," and we probably hate the same people, and that's exactly what happened.
So you clicked.
We were very critical of all these people who are in the business of recovery and not the recovery business. And so we just started this company, and we're getting ready to take it on the road and go and listen to and hear people's amazing stories on how they've helped other people against all odds, and, a different kind of hero, and how they've gotten sober themselves and how they've stayed sober and have the life they never dreamed. Finally, the drug czar of, in the White House is in recovery and makes no bones about it and talks about his own recovery. I mean, we're finally starting to recognize people as not being at fault, but being an amazing work of human beings that can share their experience, strength, and hope. So, it takes one to know one, as they say.
That's amazing.
And so Jeannie and I are just going to take it on the road. We do a lot of fundraisers and a lot of speaking, and we also do workshops, and she's a real family expert, and she's been a clinical director, she's an MFT, and she's a Texas girl. She's got that thing going for her, and we're the Lucy and Ethel of recovery.
Yeah, you guys make a great team because you kind of do different things as well as the same thing.
Yes,
right?
We really do.
Now, is this something people can visit online or anything like that?
Yeah, we have a website.
Go ahead.
Right. We're getting ready to go down to this amazing place, Serenity Cafe in Smithville, Texas. And these two women were very successful New York professional career women, and they gave up everything and moved to this little teeny town and built this free rehab and this fabulous cafe, and when you get your bill, it says, "Welcome to our home. We're so glad we were able to share food with you, and now could you share somebody else's misery and donate whatever you can to put somebody through treatment." And that's how they support this thing. And we're going down there for a big fundraiser and going to just go down and kick ass and take names.
Yeah, because I was going to say, a lot of the people that, call the show and are on the show, I'm assuming that those places sponsor in some way, so you guys get a better deal.
They actually all of our treatment centers go through hell to try to get on the show. And we've made a few mistakes, but not many. And they totally scholarship the person.
Okay, we have a caller. Daniel, you're on with Candy from Intervention.
Yeah, I have a question. I got a friend of mine who I feel needs to go to rehab, and she refuses to take any offers for help.
Well, you need to gather everybody that loves her. Dr. Johnson used to say, gather everybody around her that would be the first two groups of people that would be in the pews at her funeral, and get them all together and get in a circle and sit down and say to her, "We're not going to love you to death." So all of you have to do it together. One voice is not enough.
What if they don't really have friends other than like a couple of people? I mean,
well, they used to have friends before they became alcoholic and drag them in.
Yeah, sadly, a lot of people walk away because they don't want to.
Yeah,
they don't want to bring that dysfunction into their lives.
Yeah.
Well, I always say, why don't you go try this for 30 or 60 days, and then I'll refund your misery for free.
Ha! That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. What are the solutions for people that can't afford?
I'm on the phone.
Daniel's talking to his mother.
That's what?
Daniel's talking to his mom on the phone while we're having this conversation now.
No, she was trying to talk to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just think that, you can never give up hope, and you have to keep your expectations low and your hopes high, This is a disease, and you can do everything perfectly right, and, you'll get cancer back.
What are some options for people that can't afford to send their family members? Are there charities out there?
I have to tell you something. If you look on the internet and look around your town or in your state and say, where are there scholarship beds, either county or citywide, that accept people who cannot afford treatment, and you'll be shocked at how many come up. People don't call treatment centers and say, "Can you help me? I can't afford this. What can I do? Where can I go?" Because there are places everywhere in the whole United States and even the world starting to be. Russia and China are a little hard to find them, but Moscow just got a fabulous free treatment center, and where they don't serve vodka. So, it's one of those things and you have to ask before you can find out.
Right. Mm-hmm. What does one of those good treatment centers cost?
Well, there's a guy that's on TV that advertises every night between 11 and 1, and he's only $87,000 a month.
All right, let me just get my checkbook.
Yeah, that's what I always think. Let me mortgage my house for you, honey.
Do most insurance companies cover?
Yes.
They do.
Yes, insurance, by the way, because whether anybody likes Obamacare or not, it was the first you may have a pre-existing condition, and you may also be covered for treatment. And they might try to put you in outpatient first, which usually doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But try everything you can until you get what you want. And almost, I'd say, 70% of treatment centers now take insurance, which they never did before.
Daniel, did you have any more questions to ask, or you have anything more to add about that person?
That's what I had to ask about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you trick someone into doing that. It's kind of hard, especially if it's just your friend. If it's your family, you're around them the whole time, and you can kind of get the thing going. But if you're
but if he realizes that she has a problem, how many other people don't know what to do? And if you all come together, you have one solid, loving voice, and it works. I'm
going to hazard a guess that Daniel's talking about the same lady that we're trying to call.
That won't answer the phone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so everybody knows she's an alcoholic,
Well, give her my number and tell her to call me. I'll get her a little fanny in somewhere.
Right. All right, Daddy, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, I know it's been years. we've been trying to.
I'm gonna try and call her one more time. Let's see.
Confronting her on a system like this might be very shaming for her. So.
Well, she goes on the radio on the Opie and Anthony show all the time and talks about it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, she has no shame.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
She has no shame about it.
Let's just try this one more time, see if she picks up. She probably won't. She's reading my text, I can see, but she's not answering the phone.
Yeah, well, most likely she's having a cocktail, so
yeah.
Up.
Or a 6-pack.
I think she buys like a 30-pack.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Serious. Like,
well, see, she's smart.
And the cheapest of cheap stuff.
Yeah, it's the nastiest.
Well, but I have to be honest with both of you. If you know somebody who wants help, you can always give them my number.
Okay.
All right, I'm giving up on her.
Yeah, it's sad. She's in denial. She's still in denial. And
yeah, well, don't give up on her. Just keep harping at her.
Yeah, until people can
nag
see
her
that
to
she
death.
cares.
Nag her sober.
The problem is all the people that come over our house, all just want to drink. That's
well, hell yes. I mean, how would you want to hang out with somebody who didn't do what you did? We love lower companions.
Right.
What's that thing? Misery loves company.
Yeah,
but how do you save someone like that? I mean, this lady we're talking about, she hasn't got any money. She's in government housing. She has very little money, and every penny she gets, she goes running out to the liquor store.
Well, I know, but if you call social services and say, where can I get my friend treatment, they'll tell you where.
Right.
There's county beds everywhere.
But I have to crowbar her into a car and drive her there.
You just have to say, why don't you try this? And let's see, how miserable you are. You might be miserable for a week, but then after that, you're going to have a life you never dreamed of. Don't give up on her.
What happened the last time when they actually...
Yeah, we actually drove her one time we're in New Jersey. We drove
I'm sure she probably crawled over the fence and she could have walked out the door.
Well, actually, she got lucky because the place that was going to take her was in New York, and it turned out they wouldn't take her insurance because she had New Jersey state insurance.
Yeah, well then, if you need a great detox in New Jersey, Sunrise is around the corner. There's several of them there, and they're great detoxes.
I'm going to write that down.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I got to say, we're all very thankful for the work you do.
Well, I'm blessed. God, am I lucky. What a lucky girl I am. Who knew, when I stopped drinking years ago that I would be able to represent a life people don't dream they can have.
I guess you got to think, though, if you didn't have a drink, you'd never be doing this now.
Oh, well, you're really? Oh, you're so smart. Yeah, I wouldn't be working with alcoholics if I wasn't one, I'm telling you.
Right. I don't think anybody that works with alcoholics knows what they're talking about unless they've been one.
You're exactly right. I know how they feel. I know the hopelessness. I know the shame. I know the blame, and I know the guilt. And I don't have to have any of it today.
That's great.
I was going to say, they say that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer that there are no coincidences.
Exactly.
And
for you to be able to turn your life around and take, the bad part of your life and turn it into good to help others, I think that's just wonderful.
All right, we have a call.
I mean, what reward is there?
We have another call. Chris, you're on the air. This isn't going to go well.
Who is this?
Hey, Candy, I have a question.
Okay.
My job, Chris.
I need to deal with basically, addiction. What do you think about somebody who has a food addiction and they want to get I guess you could say, they're getting a kind of a surgery. Now, don't you think even after they have that surgery done, that they're still going to have that addiction?
You're talking about two different things, Chris. One of them is mental and the other one is physical. I know people who have had bypasses, and I know people who have had their stomach stapled and all the rest of it, but they still have a head that thinks they're fat. So because of it, it's one of those situations where you must always fix both at the same time.
Okay.
Chris is actually talking about me because I'm getting my stomach done on Monday.
Well, that's fine, but you also need to go into some kind of processing for therapy where food is not your friend. Right. It is what nurtures you and keeps you alive, but it is not your comfort.
Well, like I said, I only have two addictions in life. One is food, and one is...
And the other one is your wife.
Yeah, it's my wife. And, my wife cut me off a while ago, and now I can't eat.
Yeah, so, you're going to have to keep doing this podcast and helping more people,
Yeah,
and
this
you
is-
won't be hungry.
You're going to
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
go to therapy
Yeah.
and find out what your
Oh, yeah, you might
underlying
try
reason.
therapy,
Yeah.
for God's sakes. You can look up on the internet and find out somebody who deals with food addictions, because it's a long battle. I mean, I don't ever have to drink or do drugs again as long as I live, but my good man, you have to eat.
Well,
Yeah, he does.
do you think?
Candy, one more thing. Because I've watched intervention for a long time, and I remember, I don't think you did the intervention in this particular one, but it was a guy, his name was Lawrence, and he was from Las Vegas.
Chris, I got to hold you off a second. We actually got Diana to call too. I'm going to put you on with her.
Okay.
All right, Diana, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, finally. You're on with Candy Finnigan. Chris, we'll get back to you. I'm not going to hang up on you, though. You can stay on the line.
I'll call you back.
Sure.
Okay. Di, we're on with Candy Finnigan. Diane is our friend we were talking about.
Oh, hi, Diane.
Hi, how's everything, Denise?
Good.
You know,
You're
I
talking to
gotta-
Candy right now.
I just have a pretty bad cold, so, that's just about it.
Diane,
Trying to nurse a cold.
Diane, why don't you tell Candy how many drinks you've
Well,
had today?
they were talking about how they feel you drink too much and you don't think you do. And I'm just saying,
Well,
you're
what
never,
does that have to do with anything?
what does it have to
No,
do with
I mean, I do drink, yes, and it's not good for me. No, I never said it was good for me. Am I on the radio right now?
Yeah, of course you are. You're on the Dysfunctional with Lady Di and Candy Finnigan from Intervention.
Oh, okay.
You called us.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I do drink. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't, because if I say I don't drink, then I'm lying.
Yeah, you are.
No, but anyway, I do. Yes, I do. I drink, and what does that have to do with anything else?
Well, they just don't think that you're healthy or you're happy like you could be.
Well, that's true, but I've been drinking for I've been drinking for years and years and years.
So have I.
All right, it's not like I just started yesterday. I mean,
No, I know.
I've been
It takes
drinking
a
for
long time. I know. You don't get
Okay,
where you
and-
are today, by gradually starting with one glass of wine and ending up drinking bottles. Because that's my story. And
I didn't start with wine. Yeah, but I know, but I didn't start with wine. I actually started with beer.
well, I actually started with scotch. So.
That's a good place
No,
to start.
and then
Jesus.
it slowly progressed. I think the hardest thing I ever drank was vodka.
Yeah. Well, I did.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing I ever drank. Right now, it's back to beer again, because first of all, I can't afford to drink vodka all the time. You know what I mean? I can't afford it.
So
All right,
you don't
because
think
vodka-
that you don't think at any time that you have had a drinking problem?
But, well, yes, I have, and I went through 3 rehabs. Okay, but this was a long time ago. I mean, I went through 3 of them.
Well,
All right,
so at first
And-
you don't
and-
succeed, you try again. I just think that it seems impossible, and that you won't have anything to look forward to, and that
Can I
it's
ask
not
you
going to
something?
be
What
fun.
does my drinking? What does my drinking have to do with anything, right? Is that the reason you called?
You called us,
I
Lady
didn't call
Di.
you. That's the reason they called you.
Diane, have you ever heard of the TV show Intervention?
No.
Okay. It's a show basically that Candy is they basically help families that have addicts, and they teach the family to force the addict into getting some help. So Candy is a very famous interventionist. She is a recovering alcoholic from nearly 30 years ago. So we thought that this is someone you should talk to, because if anyone can help you, Candy can give you some pointers. You know what I mean?
And you have a lot of people, Lady Di, that are really worried about you, and for years have tried to confront you about getting help and getting clean.
Well, I tried to, but nothing ever worked.
Oh, come on. Something will work, because I'm sitting here on the phone with you, There has to be
Right,
something
yeah, but
inside of you
it's
that lets you know
I'm,
that you're not
I
happy.
mean,
Well, right now, I'm just trying to nurse this cold. Can you hold on a second, please? Hold on.
I don't know if it's because she drinks, but she's like all over the place. You know?
Well, that's part of it.
That's probably one reason why she's sick as well.
Right.
Her immune is probably so
Oh,
down.
her immune system's gone. She's like never going to be a cucumber again. She's pickled.
And she's in such a... I'm going to ask her how much a day she drinks.
Well,
Because
I
in
know
her mind, she doesn't think that she
the last
drinks that
time we
much.
talked to her, she was trying to get enough money so she could buy a 30-pack instead of a 12-pack because she gets a bit. It's
Well,
a better
yeah, she didn't want to run out.
Right. Hopefully she'll come back.
Whenever
in a sec.
somebody else comes to visit her, she's always saying, "Oh, bring me a six-pack."
Like I said,
want
the biggest
food.
problem is
I want the alcohol.
we don't live, that close to her, So she hangs out with the people around there, most of which are poor and they have nothing better to do. And I guess in that area, drinking's the thing to do.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, Diane,
My neighbors have nothing to do with it.
No, we're talking about your buddies that come over and hang out with you and stuff.
How you say they always come over there and
not
always
all of
drink?
them.
Well, some of them do. They all come over to drink.
How many beers do you have a day right now?
Well, today, this is my second one because I felt like, because of the cold.
That's pretty much a record at this point.
I wasn't feeling good all day.
On a regular day, though, you have how many?
When I feel good, I don't know, maybe about, 10, maybe 10.
And is it every
But then
day?
again,
Can you
I
ever,
don't count.
Right.
Is there ever a
Yeah,
day
well,
that you
we
can go
don't
without?
count. Why would we count? We just know when we're running out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, believe me, I know when I'm running out.
Yeah, I know. Well, they have my phone number, and so if you ever do think you might want to stop, I'd love to help you any way I can. Don't give up just because you think you've done something 3 times. My God, that's ridiculous, So there is a way that you could have a very happy and successful life and not have to drink like you do.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I mean, Diane, don't you have dreams? Don't you have goals in your life that you ever wanted to
No.
achieve? No? So you have no ambition in your life but to drink.
I used to, but at 50, I'll be 53. I just don't. I think I am. Wait a minute. Hold on. I was born 62.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm 53. Okay, and I just don't. Really.
I'm the same
Seriously.
age. I'm the same age as you. Okay, and I raised my children. My children are now grown, and there are times too that I sit there and I feel like, what have I ever done with my life besides just be a mother? And I recently created an organization that I help needy people around my community. There's always something. I intend, I'm in therapy and stuff like that, and my goal is actually kind of like what Candy's doing as far as, taking the bad in her life and how she turned it around and now she helps others. I intend to take what I went through in my life, the abuse, and how I've come through with it. And hopefully one day, I'd like to write a book, or I'd like to, mentor children who, and I'm 53 years old too. And, I could sit there and I can say, well, 53 years old, half of my life is gone. And, why should I even bother?
No,
But
I'm not.
It's not.
I'm not thinking like that at all. I'm just thinking that.
Well, what are your goals
I could probably do better than what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
How are you gonna get
however, I'm holding my place. I'm on SSI right now because I have a problem with my left leg, and that has nothing to do with my drinking. It just happens because because when I gained weight, I lost weight. I was real thin at one time, and then I slowly gained weight.
And drink beer.
Huh? No. What? No.
And drink beer.
You know what, Lady Di, that's also, I hate to tell you an excuse. I need to have 2 knee replacements, okay? I could sit there and I can think this is the end of my world. You know what I mean? Beautiful woman, 2 knee replacements. I can be really hard on myself and all, but you know what? Sometimes, it just makes me more angry with myself that, just another affliction, just another, something that, God gave me that I have to deal with. Yes, exactly. And you know what? I'm not going to let this, get to me.
Right.
I'm looking
Who are you
at...
talking to?
You. Lady Di, I'm talking to you.
I thought there was another lady in the
yes,
studio
there is.
with you. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm in California.
I'm just talking in general about, you sit there and say, oh, well, right now, I have something wrong with my leg. Well, so do I. I have I needed to have 2 full knee replacements. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens to somebody in life. We all have ailments, but like she says, it could be fixed. Your drinking can be fixed. What you have to find, are you worth it? Is there enough of love that you have for yourself?
You just have to find the want to, and it's very hard to find.
Well, yeah, but right now the issue is not my drinking. I don't think the issue is my drinking. You could call me denial. You can call me whatever you want. Okay, you can say whatever you want. Right now, my issue is I went all the way up to Opie's studio. I believe it was. Let me see. Right now, it was. Today's
Friday.
It's Thursday night, right?
Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
It's Friday.
You probably slept through Thursday night.
It's actually Friday, but it's like more like Thursday night.
No, it's Friday
No,
night.
it's Friday
It's
night.
Friday night.
Friday night. All right. I'm sorry about that. Thursday. I believe it was Thursday. I went up to I thought it was Wednesday, but I guess it was Thursday. I went up to where Opie had the studio at and everything. And I got turned away. I got turned away by Rolland. Rolland told me to come back on Monday. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he told me to come back on Monday. And then I got turned away from Kenny.
Right.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I came all the way up here, okay, just to find out I'm getting turned away. Yeah. And even Marion was mad about that. I have to be honest with you. She wasn't too happy about that. I went all the way up there just to get turned away.
Candy.
Well, there are a lot of reasons, but one of them isn't, making an excuse to drink at people, and if you get turned away,
no, I'm not.
Try something else.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that I went all the way up to the studio with my walker. Okay, went all the way up there. I made it all the way up there. I got a pass, and I made it all the way upstairs. Up to the 36th floor, the elevator. And, well, yeah, I'm not going to walk 36 floors. Yeah.
I hope.
But I went all the way up there just to find out that, Opie and Jimmy, and, they, I think they told, I'm not sure, but I think they're the ones that told Kenny. Mm-hmm. All right. And, Rolland.
All right.
That,
Candy.
That they didn't expect me up there. And,
Candy, in case you're wondering what in the hell she's talking about, the only thing Diane has outside of her house is the Opie and Jim Norton show, which is a show on Sirius XM, which I think Ken was on a while ago. So Diane we all originate from being part of that show. Diane is has been with that show a lot longer, and they pretty much make fun of her for what she is, So,
no, they don't. No, it's not even that. I don't even know. Opie told me, right? Okay, he tweeted me. I said, I'm pissed. I told him I am pissed. I go all the way up there just to get turned away. All right? And
I'm not sure what this has to do with drinking, but
he did not know I was coming up there, first of all. That's what he says. All right?
What was the purpose of you even going?
Who cares? Don't worry about it. We're not talking about that. Who cares?
Yeah.
All right, let's just get back to Diane.
Okay, here's what I'm saying to you. Yeah. When we aren't on the radio, and you want any kind of help with seeing if you could have a life that you never dreamed of you could have, because I got it, then I get my number and call me, and let's talk about how we can make you a little bit happier in life.
Yeah, Diane, I'll text you her number when the show finishes.
All right, if you want to, that's up to you.
Let me tell you something. If you don't call her, you're turning down probably the best help you're going to get for free anywhere. So,
Anthony also, he turned me away a couple of times. I mean, I never went up to his house.
I don't know what I don't know what she's talking about at this point.
She's obsessed.
Who, me?
Yeah.
She's obsessed with the fact
what are
that
you?
Other people
We're talking about addiction right now. We're not talking about you not being able to get on a radio show.
Well, all right. Well, okay. I didn't know that's what you were talking about.
Right.
Yes, I am. I do drink. I'm an alcoholic. Okay.
Hey,
if that's what you really want to know. But I am not. I'm not the only one in this world that's an alcoholic.
No,
All right?
I am.
I am not the only one. No, you're
Well,
not.
I'm an alcoholic. I was for many years.
Well,
And now
I am
I'm
for so many
recovering.
years.
Yeah, well, luckily,
Just don't
Candy.
give up on yourself because you think something that isn't true. You're not too old. You're not too this. You're not too that. All you have to do is have 5 seconds. You just admitted you were an alcoholic. That is huge. It's huge. That's the hardest
I always knew I was an alcoholic.
Yeah, so did I, but I didn't admit it.
So
I
do
admitted it.
something.
So Diane, you've already made the first step.
Yep,
I made the first step 20 years ago.
Right. Well, you know, things have changed since then. Things have changed in 20 years.
Wait, hold on. Paul, listen. When I was working at Budweiser, I knew automatically that I was an alcoholic.
What a great job!
Yeah, that's a fuck.
I was going to say,
It is a great job. I wish I didn't lose it.
Yeah.
Well,
I can say
It is a good job, really. Trust me, it really is.
that's like me working at a strip club. You know?
No.
Being
Listen
a
to me.
diabetic and working in a bakery. So
Yeah,
give
exactly.
it up.
Wait, no, it's not. I mean, monetarily, it was a great job. It was a great job to work at.
Diane,
and bring home a nice check.
If you clean your act up, you could easily get another job like that.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, well, I'm going to need to get a car.
Right. Well, you're not going to get a
If
car.
you're not drinking, you'll have the money to pay for a car payment.
How much do you spend on beer every week? Do you think?
I don't know.
Too scary.
Let's just say, all right, let's just say if I have it, a 30-pack. And that'll last me about maybe 2, maybe 3 days.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Okay.
That's
about the norm for a 30-pack, isn't it? I don't know.
Is it the norm? I don't know.
Not really, not in my household.
Normal.
I think a 30-pack would last me a year.
I'm sure that's
more.
like that's with other people drinking it too.
I don't know, 10 beers a day?
Yeah. But that's a lot to be drinking as long as you have.
And let me
a lot of people. Well, a few people tell me that. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. So all I'm saying is, if you wake up some morning and you've had enough, you call me and I'll help you walk you through this thing where the people will love you. My God, these people are crazy about you. And they know what your potential is, whether you do or not. You're not too old. You're not too drunk. You're not too dumb. You just have a drinking problem, and it's fixable.
I really hope so.
Diane, will you?
Listen. Why would you think a total stranger would lie to you?
You're not a stranger.
Who I am. Yeah, I'm kind of a stranger.
Right. Yeah. But
I believe in you,
anyway,
and I think you can do this.
Anyway, I was hurt. I mean, with my cold and everything like that, I was just hurting all day today. I go by the Burger King and ask a few people for change. I got chased out of there. Usually the morning shift chases me out of there. The morning shift at Burger King?
You don't have
They
to
usually
live
tell
like
me I
that.
got to leave.
Diane, do you?
I know, but I'm broke. I'm on SSI right now.
You shouldn't be begging.
Around
you should
this
be taking
around this
care
time
of
of month,
yourself.
I'm broke.
Well, you wouldn't have to be. I'm just telling you. I give you my word of honor. There's an easier, softer way.
Diane, if Candy can help you, if Candy can arrange something and help you in some way to try and get you sorted out, would you be willing to do it?
I'm not ready yet. No, Paul. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You really got to give me this person's phone number.
I will. No, we're not saying to do it now. I'm just saying, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, because I'm not, ready to do it like right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The problem,
sooner rather than later, my good woman.
I was gonna say, are you ready to just hit bottom? Is that what you want? You want to hit
She
bottom?
said,
I already hit bottom.
Help? Well, then what are
I
you
already
waiting
hit
for?
bottom. How far down do you want me to go?
Well,
Well,
that
what's
should
it gonna
tell you.
take? I don't understand you. I mean,
I already hit bottom. That's it.
so
anything,
what are you waiting for?
Anything,
to die?
from here is going to be good.
So why
First of all,
that's exactly all I'm saying to you.
Lady Di.
First of all,
Diane.
First of all, yes. What?
I lost one of my best friends, my daughter's godmother, at the age of 43 due to alcohol. Because like you, she kept thinking like she knew she drank, but she didn't think she had a problem. Okay? And like how you're sounding sick? Well, she started that way. She started feeling sick, run down. Okay.
Hold on, let me stop you right there. I know I have a problem.
You're killing yourself.
And let's not talk about it anymore. It's not going to make it any better.
Right.
You have my number. I'm willing to help you any way I can. It would be an honor for me to help you. And let's try something different because, as I said, I'll refund your misery for free. So, you don't have to live like this anymore.
All right, Diane, I'm gonna text you her number, and you can give her a call in a little while, okay?
Well, yeah, but I'm walking out the door, you guys, to go to a 12-step meeting. So
right, no, I didn't mean.
I meant to call me tomorrow.
No, I meant I was going to text her in a little while. I didn't mean I was going to have her call you in a little while. Trust me, Diane's got nothing to do. She'll be available anytime.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something right now. You could text me if you want the number, but I don't think a 12-step meeting is going to work because I already been through
it's
that.
It's not for you. It's for her.
I said I'm going to one, not you're going to one.
Candy, having her pay attention is like a challenge.
Yes, it is.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, it's difficult. I get it. So just text her my number and have her call me when we can have a discussion without everybody, and let's see what we can do.
All right, Lady Di, I'm going to hang up on you, okay?
Wait a minute. Before you do, tell Anthony I would like to go over to his house one day, and it would be nice if he just lifted the ban and let me go over there.
All right,
It'd be nice if I saw him again.
Next time I see him, which will probably be on the Halloween party, I will ask him for you.
Yeah, ask him. What's the problem? Okay.
Okay, you guys. We're not getting anywhere.
All right, I'm gonna say, Diane, I'm gonna say goodbye to you right now, okay?
All right.
Have a good day.
Oh my God.
We're sorry.
That's
so
it.
I have to run, and I would love to call you back at another time and and be a part of your insanity because it's too much fun.
Yeah, right. Now, do you now see what we're talking about with Diane, though? I mean.
Well, of course, but that's alcoholism speaking. That's not her.
Well, again, Candy, we thank you very much.
Yeah, do you want to tell us again about your company and how to get hold of you?
Yeah, you can go on candyfinnigan.com or you can go on to addictionladies.com, and both of them have every single little thing I'm doing. Or you can go on A&E TV Network.com and find out all about the show.
And don't forget her book, When Enough
my
is
book
Enough.
is When Enough is Enough. You can go on Amazon and get it used for $1.99.
There you go.
Wow, that's good. That's the best. That's the best $1.99 any addict can spend.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, unfortunately, the people that should be buying it should be the family of the addict, right? Obviously not.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Candy.
Okay, you guys, take
have
care
a great
and
night.
stay in touch
Take
with me,
care.
and let's keep doing this.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Anytime you want to call, you let us know.
Okay, darling.
You got my
All
email,
right.
so send me an email.
Yes, I do, Paul.
All right,
Take care
Candy.
now.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.